Hey everybody, guess what? We are back. This is Mr. Extraordin. I'm not alone. I'm with Rob Sibeko. I'm with my compadres, Buckmeister Cool from Buckmeister Cool Reacts and Buckmeister Cool. Sorry, and Mike Buckmeister Cool Reacts and Master Geek Media. Right?
There we
Yeah.
go.
And then I have the Zanuzukum Lambo, aka the Fire Lord himself. And we have a special guest with us today, Duchesne. Um, I believe that he is a sports commentator. He's on YouTube as well. He is an actor, he's a musician, and he has Insta and TikTok as well. He has a channel called Corner Flag on YouTube. You guys can check it out, but I'll leave links in the description below of everybody that I've mentioned at the moment. If you're new, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content, and comment. Let us know your thoughts about whatever it is that we're doing. All right, so if you're new, this is African Frame. What we do is we talk about anything film related, whether it's movies, series, box office predictions, box office, what's this, numbers and all of that. So yeah, check us out, and I'm sure you will definitely like us because we really dissect into movies as well. We get into the meat of things. We don't just give you fluff or anything of that sort. Anyway, we are continuing with the segment called Seven Up. Basically, what we do is we touch on film franchises that have at least more than 7 films, right? Or up to 7 films at least.
7 and up.
So yeah, 7 and up. So from 7 to whatever number the movies have been released for that particular franchise. And in this in this current franchise that we're busy on, it's the MCU. We have started with phase 1 and we ended with Captain America, the first Avenger. And now we're going to start with Avengers that came out in 2012, and then we're going to go to phase 2. So Rob, please take the floor. Is there anything that you want us to talk about before we get into Avengers?
Well, if you look at the graph, you can go over the stuff we've done before. We've done Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and now we're about to do Avengers.
All right.
Those were 4 very interesting years of filmmaking that basically changed the industry. With the pinnacle being Avengers.
All right, cool. So in case you don't know, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving our own personal ratings of the movies from our point of view versus the actual review that IMDb gave each film. All right, so we're going to have a roster like we normally do. We're going to be starting with Buckmeister, and then after Buckmeister, we're going to be going with the Fire Lord himself, Zanuzuko. And then we're going to go with Rob, we're going to go with myself, then we're going to go with our special guest, Duchesne. So we're just going to be giving our opinion on all these films. We'll see how far we go. So, right, let's start with the first one, Avengers, that came out in 2012. Buck?
Okay, first tangent before we continue. When are we doing Heart of the Hunter, guys? Come on.
You've been crying for that one,
He's
bro.
been crying.
It's painful for all of us.
No, but I will join your campaign on this one, Buck. Just tag me. I will be there.
Come on, guys. He's practically a superhero in that thing. But anyway, Avengers 8 out of 10 with IMDb. Okay, so I saw this in theater. I took my brother to go watch it in theater because he's a gaming nerd. He's not like a comic book superhero nerd. He enjoyed the movie, so I think that's a testament to how good that movie is. We also did a review on it. We did a long commentary thing on this channel. You can find it somewhere there, where we were discussing about which city would be better to live where. I'm staying the hell out of New York because every time the sky opens, aliens always visit where?
New York, New York.
Yes, sis. It's like, let's invade Earth. Where do we go? New York. Whole planet. But you can keep it.
Your insurance in New York will probably be higher than your rent. Your hero's insurance will probably be higher than the rent.
You see, I hear that the insurance companies really backed away from fires in LA. I'm sure in New York the insurance companies will be like, Aliens, nah, we ain't covering that. Super villains, we're not covering that.
Spirits from other dimensions, yeah, not covering that. Yo. Anyway, yeah, getting back to this film, I really dug this film. As a person who did read some of the comic books and stuff, I had to go back because I thought that Cap was one of the founding members. He's not, which is interesting. But they needed him there anyway. There was just no way that they were gonna do Avengers anyway because he's as close to a founding member as you can be.
Yeah.
Because basically the team didn't have direction until Cap got on the scene and started giving orders and stuff.
You could say Tony is the founding member, I guess, or rather the guy that really came up with that plan. But yeah, they needed Cap. Without Cap, it wouldn't have worked. I think I could be wrong.
The thing is, Tony also Tony wasn't good at giving orders. Tony's whole MO is I take a rocket and I blast the other guy with it, and does it work or doesn't it work? Let me build a bigger rocket. But anywho,
he's a solo dolo.
Yeah, getting back to this film, it handles all the characters really well. It does something that the MCU has failed to do for a while. Although Joss Whedon, I feel like he has some beef with Thor because Thor was stronger in his movie than he was in Avengers. So I was a bit confused that Thor was struggling as much as he was in this film.
No, but he didn't direct. Okay, no, I hear what you're saying. He didn't direct Thor, but I do hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's like he didn't look at Thor's power scaling in Thor's movie. It's like Thor was waxing frost giants in his movie, and we get to hear, and this is just the Chitauri. I'm like, they're not giants with ice and stuff.
Yeah.
So why, Thor is struggling there? Like that's a criticism I developed later because I just thought about it, but I was just like, maybe, comic books have been inconsistent with power scaling, so we'll let it go there. But in terms of the characters, I think this one does the team up stuff, some of the best team up stuff, and they also focus on the interpersonal stuff really, really well. Because I think like Tony and Cap's relationship, the way it develops here, it kind of like carries throughout the rest of the MCU. Which is but the foundation here is what made it strongest. I think that's why a lot of people, like some people were saying that Civil War was not so surprising because of the seeds that were laid here. So 8 out of 10, I would give it a 9. Loki was I would give it a 9. Loki was, I mean, scary is not the word, but he was a force of nature. I think the jokes are better here than they are in than they are in a lot of MCU movies. And I think this movie does when it's time to be serious, it actually balances like the seriousness. Like for example, when Ruffalo Banner, Ruffalo Banner, because recasted
right.
recast T'Challa.
It's happening, buddy.
Yeah. We'll see. But anyway, when Ruffalo scares Black Widow, let me say Banner. Let me use the actual character's name. When Banner scares Widow and she picks up the gun, you're legit scared like he's about to Hulk out and things are about to go left. But I think every actor brought it here, and shout out to Coulson, who's an MCU edition. He doesn't exist in the comic books as far as I know. Fun character, and I was kind of like, when he died, I was like, but it's not like, he needs to come back. It was like, okay, that's too bad. But anyway, 9 out of 10. I wouldn't give this an 8.
Okay, cool. Zugo?
Brilliant movie, brilliant team building. They showed the different characters or the different aspects of all the characters. They didn't all become friends just off the first go. You could see it was built up. Obviously, if it was I think it was if it was a two-part movie, they could have probably expanded on those a bit more. But still in the movie they did it well. I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that they weren't, in a lot of these things, these guys come together and they're already a team and they already know how to work together and stuff. Like these guys didn't know how to work together, but they had all the skill sets that they needed. And with Cap being a soldier, being a captain, being a leader, he naturally gravitated because everyone everyone of Tony is a solo guy. Thor is a head first and re tla bona ko pele. Banner is a smash smash. Hawkeye is a behind this Hawkeye and thingy. What's her face now? And Widow. They're more behind the scenes. They cut your ankles. They don't, and then they kill you. So everyone was like, it's all different skill sets, and Cap was literally the only leader that they actually have, because everyone else, all their leadership is very flawed. So you and then you see that and how everyone's coming up with their own ideas, and then they start working together. Like when what's his face when Hawkeye comes to the ship and Tony's doing his own thing, and then but then they start working together in that scenario with him and Cap and stuff and things, little things like that. So the the villain was menacing, he was believable, he was scary. um the conflicts were believable, and they were well executed. They didn't feel corny. They didn't feel like, oh, that had to happen. It felt natural. It didn't feel like they just put that in because they had to, otherwise some part of the movie wouldn't make sense. Um, so the plot points were well executed, and they were well placed. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, man, I just think this was, and I love the fact that it built up. It didn't just come in, wow, 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 and then by the time the final fight comes in, now they have to deal this massive, insane fight because all the other fights were so huge and spectacular.
Okay.
So brilliant movie, well executed. You see, this is what we call filmmaking. This is not what we call, let's put stars in there and let's see what we'll get.
What
So brilliant movie. What can I'm trying to think what I can really critique. I think the only real critique I have is because the movie was so short, they couldn't put in a few extra scenes to like just develop the team a bit more. That's literally the only critique I can have for it. So maybe like if it was like if it was a part one, part two type of vibe, but then that would have just made it unnecessarily long.
What's the
So
rating?
so yeah, I'll give it a 9 as well. I think it was just excellently done.
Okay, cool. Rob?
All right. I actually think, I would say again, I think this is peak Avengers, peak Marvel. I think it was the first time we ever saw a movie come together the way it ever had like that. I love the fact that they never had to explain who the characters are. They could just jump right in, which is just fantastic. Um, and at the same time, it was still not so convoluted as to confuse newcomers. I think still fantastic. I like the fact that every personality is unique, and because they all had their own movies, they could build that uniqueness, that 3D roundness to it that then comes together, and you get to see personalities bounce off each other. Um, I enjoyed, as they said about Tony and Tony and Captain America coming to, well, bouncing off each other. Um, that was brilliant. I thought it was built nicely, and then ends up having ramifications throughout the entire series. It's actually great. The fact that the director, well, Joss Whedon could snatch all those little moments and then put it together to make a good movie is fantastic. I would say the only one who comes close would be the brothers.
The Russos.
There we go. they did a good job as well, snatching individual character traits and putting it together in the later, in first of all, Civil War, and then Infinity War, came together quite nicely. And I think this was where it happened first. I also agree with the humor thing of it was before Marvel got silly. One could argue after this it got silly, but this was the last time I would say the humor was up and down perfectly. And I think it was a skill that Joss Whedon produced, and I think other people tried to copy it, and a copy is never as good as the original. And I think that was something they suffered from later on. But for now, it's still peak, and yeah, solid 9 out of 10 for me, man.
All right. I agree with what you said, for the most part. I mean, he copied himself with Age of Ultron, and that didn't land well. But this one, for me, it was like lightning in a bottle. For me personally, I think I would say, as it stands, it's the best MCU movie, the Avengers. I think the actors also didn't have an ego. It's something that Zuko also touched. Like, it's not a project where we're getting superstars and we're trying to make them like they'll just figure it out. Some of them had already done their solo films and they had done decently well at the box office. Some of them had mixed reviews. So they were still proving themselves. You know, Marvel was still proving themselves. Everybody was still proving themselves. Nick Fury has his time to shine here because before then he was just having cameos in everybody's films. But then in this one, he has a really, really great arc. You know, in the beginning, he loses some of his men. Loki really, really puts a one on him, and then he ultimately gets all these guys together, tries to show them the ropes. It's a bit difficult because everybody has different personalities. People are not getting, they're not aligned, which is something Buckmaster, I think he said offline. But when Cap comes in, things get a bit smoother. It has a lot of quotable scenes. It has a lot of great scenes. I mean, come on, guys. Who didn't really geek out when they saw the team ready for action as the camera is, rotating around or rather revolving around them? And I mean, that scene is completely useless because they don't do anything. I mean, there's a part where they show Hawkeye is about to throw an arrow, but he doesn't do that. It's just like it's as if they knew that they should be posing at this point. But it is one of the most iconic scenes in film history, in my opinion. And Hulk there was OP. One punch from Hulk really just killed one of the huge aliens. I mean, you could say it's peak Hulk, because after
Yeah,
that, we don't really get that strong Hulk anymore.
I feel like comic fans will fight you there. Peak Hulk, disgusting.
Anyway,
Simply right,
Hulk.
because dog, what's happened to the Hulk in the MCU? Thanos hit him in the throat once, and that guy is safe.
and some people are saying that the fact that Red Hulk is going to be fighting Sam Wilson in itself is just ridiculous. Why
Well,
would
he managed to get a suit from Wakanda somehow, which people are yet to explain to me how that happened.
but it doesn't have super soldier serum. He's fighting a
But
Hulk.
that thing can take kinetic energy and bounce it back. So
All right, we'll see how
But
that
his
goes.
It can take all kinetic energy at all times to all levels.
why did Wakanda give it to him? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like
when it
this
becomes
was not
friends.
even had one.
No, but Sam is an Avenger, guys, and he helped
Yeah,
defeat.
but I'm saying,
So where was he for the funeral?
Yeah, no, you need to
Where
ask
was any Avenger for the funeral?
you need to ask the Wakandans about that one.
also I'm saying now, do the Wakandans owe Doctor Strange vibranium because he helped or whatever? Do they owe like come on, guys? They shouldn't have even brought that to Wakanda, because now Wakanda became the final scene for everything to get wrecked and destroyed. If I was the Wakandan, Sam ain't getting nothing. None of you Avengers are getting anything. He came with a purple man to my house and caved it in.
Hey, that's why I'm anti what's his name? Killmonger. I think Killmonger was wrong. I think they should have kept the technology.
Okay, but anyway, my
Yeah.
rating, I give this movie a 9.5. I think Devil and I have spoken countless times that this is our favorite Avengers film. For me personally, this is my favorite Avengers film and one of my favorite MCU films ever. Like after this movie, I would say the one that comes close to this is, for me personally, is Civil War. So yeah, that's me. Duchesne, I think it's your turn.
Side note: can people stop saying that Bucky, that Wakanda owes Bucky a favor? They actually don't at all. They
Like
never
they
act.
helped him.
Yeah, why would they owe him a favor?
That's apparently that's how Sam got his Wakanda suit, is because Bucky called in a favor.
I feel like you're not
Yeah.
allowed to frame me for murder. I mean, you're not allowed to accuse me of murder and try to kill me. I feel like there's a rule to that.
No, but also on top of that, one, didn't know who you were. You were also known as the Winter Soldier. Two, when I found out, I did you the solid and I got you rehabilitated. Why do I owe you vibranium on top of that? Oh, well.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I think that whole lost the arm because of the hunt, in my opinion.
But I think we need to keep the pace going, guys. I don't know if Duchesne can hear us.
Shane, can you
Shane?
hear?
Cool. So the next one that we have is Iron Man 3. Now, this one was directed by Shane Black. Shane Black is the same guy who directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that also had Robert Downey Jr. in it and Val Kilmer. So it was nice to see them both working on this thing. You know, so yeah, I don't want to get into much detail because I feel like we're running out of time. So, Buck,
Okay, so this movie is an interesting one because for me, even though Ben Kingsley should not have been the Mandarin, at least when he's pretending to be the Mandarin, it actually feels like he's like a threat and dangerous, and he's a challenge for Iron Man until they pull one of the most dumbest plot twists I've ever seen in film.
agreed.
Like, I don't understand why they had to switch from Ben Kingsley to what was his name again? Whoever.
His name is Guy Pearce. His real name is Guy
Yeah,
Pearce.
yeah. As I was saying, it was one of the dumbest plot twists ever, because also it ruined because the Mandarin is one of like Iron Man's like most like top villains or whatever. He might even be number one, and because he uses magic and stuff, that's why he's interesting. Because Tony, like, he's like Superman and Batman, where he hates magic. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't understand why they did that. Um, RDJ is really good. I think the chemistry between RDJ and Don Cheadle and their respective roles is better in this movie than
Yeah.
it was in Iron Man 2. Because I think they finally like settled amongst each other as actors or whatever. The development with Pepper Potts also was good and all of that stuff. The movie kind of gets muddled, but the whole point of the movie is that one of the biggest criticisms about Iron Man is that, I mean, you've seen it in Avengers where Cap asks him, "What are you without the suit?" basically. So after you get to Avengers, I saw that the idea was to make it smaller, which is something the MCU should start doing. I think that's the one of the problems with the MCU is they keep just escalating, and they don't understand that sometimes it's okay to go small. You don't always have to save the world or save the universe or save the multiverse. Sometimes you can just save the city and it's fine. Sometimes you can just save one person and it's okay. So I think that's one of the strengths of this movie. But yeah, the plot twist and also the fact that they were trying to retire Iron Man, I think those are the two factors that kind of hurt this movie. Also, there's that kid who was the Proto Spider-Man, and we've never heard from him again.
Well, he has a cameo in Endgame, but that's it.
Oh, he does? Yeah, I missed it, Ibile.
The funeral, at the funeral.
So you may not see him properly, but yeah.
He's,
Oh,
he's
okay.
just tall now. So he's
So
grown.
Funan at the funeral. Like, you know what? Never mind.
Uh,
What does
this
that mean? Actually, no. The man had an impact
gave
on
it a
someone's
7
life.
point. Gave it a 7.1. The extremist stuff was kind of like, the problem is that the extremist storyline is like, it's one of the shorter storylines in Iron Man's history. It's not like that crazy. And all it does, literally, from what I remember, because I read it a long time ago, is that it just upgrades his armor so that he can have extremist armor. So that instead of having to go get a suit, he's now got a suit living in his skin. That's what I remember from that storyline.
Ah,
So I'm not sure why they went with that one. But yeah, all in all, 7.1. I give it a 7.
okay.
Not the point one.
All right, cool. Um, Zooks.
Yeah, just so for me, I concur with Buck. It felt like they were trying to do a lot of things at the same time. So and then they kind of just didn't. They sort of half finished them because they had the Tony trying to be without the suit, and then also Tony dealing with the PTSD from New York, and then Tony trying to now be a proper boyfriend to Pepper, and then the extremist stuff again. Like you see, there's just a lot of stuff that was happening, but especially if I think if they had focused on the suit and the PTSD stuff more, that would have been cool. And then yeah, honestly, I was hyped for it because of I didn't know about the Mandarin. So, but when the Mandarin came in, I was legit scared. I was like, this dude is scary. This dude is gonna fuck shit up. And then it turned out he's an actor and he's being used and thing and I was deflated, bro. Like I was very much deflated and I nothing could get me back up. So well that sounded wrong. Nothing could let me leave it because everything I'm thinking of just sounds wrong. Anyway, uh nothing could get me hyped up about it again. Um so I just feel like I don't think they knew what they wanted to do. And it comes across in the movie. I don't think they knew whether they wanted to focus on Tony being less Iron Man and letting the other guys handle most of the stuff, and he'll just handle the big things. I don't think if they knew they wanted to let Tony, he's suffering from PTSD, and this is the results of it, so that we can see that yes, these guys are superheroes, but they're also human beings and they deal with stuff as well. Um, so I think that was the problem with the movie. They didn't know what they wanted to deal with, and they didn't, and because they didn't have an overarching angle, it was a big muddle. So I'll give it a 6.5.
Hmm.
And I only give it a 6.5 because I could see what they were trying to do, but but otherwise I probably would have given it like a 5.5. But because I could see what they're trying to do and they fell short of it, I'm giving them the credit for that.
And I mean, the actors were good, you know.
Yes, no, actor was good. Pepper was good. The whole extremist thing. Guy Pearce was menacing, man. Like when you see how he was at that Christmas party to how he comes now, he went from all and it wasn't like over the top. You know, sometimes these guys they go from like nerd to this cool suave guy and they're over the top. Like you could see,
Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
yeah, yeah. So he wasn't like over the. He was just like, hey, I'm cool, I'm calm. But then you could still see the old him trying because he's trying to impress Potts and Tony and things like that. So yeah, very good acting. I think the acting saved this movie a lot because I mean Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, even when he turned out to be just an actor, and you were like, what? Like his little comedy, his little thing, that was still pretty dope.
Awesome. Rob?
All right, cool. I fundamentally disagree with all of you guys. I think this was actually a fantastic, brilliant movie.
What?
I think the problem that this movie had was comic book fans. I think if you were just a normie and you watch this movie, it's fantastic. Because if you're like, I don't know who the Mandalorian is, it's just a bad guy who comes in and gives Tony Stark.
Mandarin. You want problems with comic book fans?
Mandalorian isn't that an instrument of some sort?
Bro, you gotta get two fandoms on your ass.
Hey man, I don't know.
Mandolin is a
Hey.
music instrument, but yes, point is, because I'm okay, but then again, I maybe biased because I'm a Shane Black fan, and he's got a style of storytelling and writing that is genuinely fantastic. Like, if you guys have ever seen The Nice Guys,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've watched the Nice Guys.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I think what
that is that the Mark Wahlberg
No, it's
that's the
yeah,
other guys. You think it's Ryan Gosling and
Ryan Gosling and
Danny
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. There we go.
uh, okay.
I recommend it. It is fantastic. It is funny. So anyway, his style of writing is to like catch you by surprise, especially if you watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's got loves. He likes to play with the viewer basically a lot of the times with his style of things. He catches you by that little things, and I think what he was trying to do here was, and I think personally I think he succeeded, but I think it wasn't what people wanted. Um, so I think as a fan of the sequences, yes, I think there is some stuff you can get upset about. But if you watch it as just a movie, it's kind of great. So what it does is, first of all, Iron Man's supposed to be like a highly intelligent person, but he's got these few flaws, and he amplifies those flaws. I mean, his arrogance is what causes the entire thing. If he just stopped being a douche, the two people that try to kill him most effectively wouldn't have done anything. But because he's such a douche, it ends up being his like downfall. He loses all of his suits. The alcoholism and what you call it, and depression and PTSD come together in a very unique way, where you kind of see him jumpy and freaky, and he's like nervous and scared. He's not this cool person who just has to like punch harder to get things done. I think in a separate movie that wasn't called Iron Man, this gets a lot more love. Um, but because it is an Iron Man movie, and like you guys said, some random kid shows up and then disappears, stuff like that end up just coming off as kind of off. But on in and of itself, I think it still is a good movie that I think you could almost say it was on its own assignment. You could say, like they said, "Oh man, power down Iron Man." I don't know why Kevin Feige would tell him to do that, but he did, and he decided to make Iron Man go through his hardest trials and tribulations, and he did. Um, and then I feel like everyone was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I feel like the fans were like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 8.5. I just really enjoyed myself with this movie, and I've watched it like 5 times, and I'm happy every time I watch it.
All right. Look,
That is
See that coming.
surprising.
Iron Man 3 was probably the best movie that they could have done after Avengers because those were big shoes to fill anyway. And the only person that they probably relied on was Robert Downey Jr., right? Because he had already done 2 Iron Man films. I enjoy watching this movie a lot, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's the best MCU movie, even with Robert Downey Jr. at the helm. The acting is superb. Nobody is horrible in this movie. I mean, even Rebecca Hall, she was great. I liked her character. She seemed to be a bit of a threat to Pepper Potts because you have this beautiful brunette that comes back from Iron Man's past. Guy Pearce as, is it Aldrich Killian? Great character.
Mm.
I mean, some would say that this is a Incredibles knockoff where Incrediboy comes back,
Ah,
and
yes, yes.
yeah, he has this whole villain arc thing. Um, Also the cameo of the same character that was there in the first Iron Man, who helped him build the Iron Man suit. That was a nice homage there. Even though
Jensen.
Jensen, even though Tony didn't, I mean, he wasn't even paying attention to him because he didn't recognize him in the first movie.
No,
But
no, that flashback that we see, it's before all of that stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
I'm saying in Iron Man 1, Jensen says we've met before, but you wouldn't remember.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what
it.
I'm saying. I'm saying that um Tony wouldn't even remember him because he wasn't even paying attention to him at the time. That's what
Oh,
I think.
okay. I thought you were phrasing it as they met after.
No, no,
Okay.
no. I'm just saying before he met with him. By after, I mean after those events when they met when he was kidnapped. He
Okay.
didn't recognize him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, It has a lot of comedy. I feel like this is like sort of Shane Black for me. Sort of treated this movie the way Taika Waititi probably might have treated this movie if, but before what's
He
this
had more
movie?
respect. He had more respect than Tiger. I can't give him that. He had
No, no,
more.
wait,
Yeah,
wait,
don't be
wait.
evil.
Let me finish.
Alright.
Before Love and Thunder, while he was still on his Ragnarok thing era, uh, because for me, tonally, there's a lot of like it changes a lot. You know, there's moments where it's serious, happy, lands up in hospital. Tony ends up somewhere. You know, doesn't have any communications, nothing. He's by himself. It gets serious, but then you have like that reveal, which was in bad taste. Uh, who's this Don Cheadle's character? Rhodey gets nerfed for no reason. I mean, there's points where you see that he could have been the one to shine, but he doesn't for some reason. You know, that for me just didn't make sense. I didn't like how they treated him there. So they just gave him his own thing where he's saving the president, which is fine. But at the same time, I feel like, dude, you're very competent. You're competent. You could have done this by yourself, but you're not Tony, so we get it. You know. Um, and also Pepper Potts gets a moment to shine. She basically is the one that destroys, Eldridge Killian, because all of a sudden she has superpowers, right? I guess you could say she's the first woke character in this movie. And then they just ignore all of that in the future films. It's as if she doesn't have those powers anymore.
Didn't they say they took it out of her?
Yeah,
Did
they had
they?
because it was gonna kill her.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
must
they
have
took.
forgot.
Yeah, because it wasn't stable. So I think there's a where at the like the ending credits where
Yeah.
he did whatever and he took it out of her.
Oh, okay.
Which is lame, by the way. They should have
It's
just
very lame because also the other thing I wanted to mention is Tony says he's letting go of everything, he's giving up and ying. And then Jiggy Jiggy, when you watch Age of Ultron, is as if nothing happened. Like he has a lot of
There was
Iron
no
Man.
we're gonna let RDJ go at that point.
No, no,
I,
but if you remember, even behind the scenes, he wanted to quit. I don't know if you guys remember this.
no, I remember, but I'm just saying Marvel was like, hell no, there's no way we're not getting you for another movie, dude. Here's another 50. That guy was ranking, that guy was making bank. And that's the thing with actors. Like, I think people think that actors live a lot of glamorous lives or whatever. Sometimes there's no jobs.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Marvel job. Sometimes you just ride that wave out
And
until
also, if you remember, by the time they were doing Age of Ultron, his paycheck was way bigger than everybody else's.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like
dog.
by a long shot. And he's the one that actually, I think, really sort of like led this whole negotiation thing for the other actors to say, guys, come on. You know, these guys have already done like they are very prominent in this universe. So they got a bit of a bump up on in the salaries, a bit in their paychecks, thanks to Robert Downey, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, going back to this, you guys have said it very like perfectly. The relationship between Tony and Rhodey is amazing. It's truly amazing. Even though sometimes it's a bit short because like they were still exploring his PTSD moments. Hey, where you going, Tony? I got a bail. And then he leaves. But it's really great scenes, great moments. I love watching. I've watched it way more, like more than 5 times, Rob. Like there was a point I used to watch this movie almost every day. Back in 2014, 2013, I've watched it a lot. But like I said, it's sort of like a guilty pleasure for me because it's not the best MCU movie for me. I'm not really a Shane Black fan, to be honest. Nice Guys is a nice film, but for me, I saw a lot of mistakes from the first viewing, and I was like, when you can clearly see the extras in fight scenes or stuff like that. So it didn't really land for me, but I like Russell Crowe and
And Kiss
what's
Kiss
the other
Bang
guy?
Bang and Kiss the Girls.
I haven't seen those two. I haven't seen those two.
All right.
But anyway, my score for this one, 7. 7 is fine. Actually, 7.5. 7.5 is fine.
Cool, cool.
Duchesne, bro, we hope that you are fine, you are sorted. It's your turn, man. Let's hear you out.
Can you guys hear me now? Please tell me
Can
you can
hear
hear me
you.
now.
yes.
We can, oh, loud and clear.
Okay. Oh my god. Fantastic. Okay, great. Wait, should I just give it for this movie, or should I also just cover the previous movie as well?
You can make it short and sweet, sure.
Okay, let me make it short and sweet. I'd say for the first movie, that was Avengers, right?
Yep.
I'd probably give it a solid 9. Purely based on the fact that I think the guys that they chose to, I don't know, probably lead the whole universe, Captain America, Iron Man, and everybody else, they really came to the forefront in a lot of ways. The humor was okay. The only people I'd say I was disappointed with was probably Hulk, but you can't really blame Marvel for that, just based on the fact that those are like Sony movies, I'd say, right? And you got different Bruce Banners all throughout. So in the time that they had, I think they did the best they did with him. But over time, they really crucified my boy, bro. They really did the worst of Hulk. So it was a solid 9, just based on the fact that the guys who were really important like presented centerfold, and then with Hawkeye and Shadow, they were all right. You know what I mean? But I felt like they kind of like just maybe drowned in the fact that if you
Widow.
look at like the power scales of,
Crucified.
you
Widow.
know what I mean, bro. So I can't really necessarily say that their writing was bad or they're bad characters. It's just, I mean, if you put him next to Thor, bro, it's you know what I mean. It's really really hard. So, and there's a super soldier next to them. So even at the best human there, the best street level fighter there is Captain America. And so I think they did really really well in that front. So overall 9.1. If we're looking at the third Iron Man movie, I think it suffered a lot from the success of the earlier movies, just purely based on the fact that the CGI was very inconsistent. Yes, the Iron Man suits look nice and whatever,
Yeah.
which is expected, right? But if you look at the bad guy, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wasn't convinced, bro. I wasn't convinced with how he looked. The power of it just didn't do it for me. And I think that because of the fact that it's a dance, man. Your movie's only as good as your bad guy and how you present him. So he was all right. Pepper Potts also had a moment, like you guys mentioned, but I just felt like that's kind of cheap sometimes. I thought they do a certain superhero sometimes. I think even in the later, in like Endgame or whatever, we get another lady. I think Pepper Potts also has like a Iron Man suit, right? And we also have Ironheart. So it's like very very cheap how everybody just gets like given like the powers of the main hero that we like. But apart from that, they did improve the suits. I think that's something that I like about like Iron Man consistently. He's always improving his suits. This time it's nanotechnology. This time the suits themselves, they come apart into like different pieces and stuff. So I think that really has a very nice growth effect to the fact that he's always continuously getting better. You know what I mean? Especially after certain fights, like with the Ant-Man thing. I think why I got the nano suit was because Ant-Man was able to get into his suit. So I just like that part of it, that part that they keep improving his suits. But I wasn't really convinced with the villain and the story. The storyline was all right, didn't really move me per se. But it was okay. So overall, I'd say proper 7. 7 would probably be like appropriate. It's not horrible, but for mindless CG, it was,
All right, 7. Cool. Before we move on, so I've got a question for all of you guys. So, Rand, it's not a full tangent, but it is Marvel based. Who's the better actor between you guys? What do you guys think of Guy Pearce versus Ethan Hawke? Because you get similar looking actors, and they kind of give like similar vibes. I feel like the two of them kind of give similar vibes.
I prefer. Wait, no, wait. Who was the guy in Iron Man 2? The villain, was it Sam Elliott?
No, it
That's
was
Sam
Michael. What's
Yes,
his name
that's Sam
again?
Elliott.
Yeah, it's
No.
Not Michael Rourke. I know Rourke was there.
Mickey
but
Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
yeah, Mickey
Sam
Rourke.
Elliott, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
Justin Hammer,
I
Yeah.
confused Ethan Hawke for
Sam
Sam.
Rockwell.
Oh,
Rockwell.
Rockwell, sorry.
Yes.
Not
Sam Rockwell.
Elliot is
Sam
Thunderbolt.
Elliott is the one with the white hair, with
No, I'm
the
saying
handlebar mustache. He's always old.
The old Ross.
The original Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, the original Thunderbolt Ross. Hey, confusing my white man. Sorry, white people.
Moon Knight. Moon Knight, Ethan Hawke. That Ethan Hawke.
Oh yeah, Ethan
Better
Hawke.
before General.
I don't know. I think if we're comparing their MCU performances, it's
Sure.
more or less equivalent.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you need to see them in other movies, but their MCU performances, Aldrich Killian was just as soliloquy and like he was soliloquying all over the place, the same as Ethan Hawke's character. Only
Yeah.
difference is that Aldrich Killian is an actual MCU character, and whoever Ethan Hawke was, I've never seen that guy in a comic book. Oh
Yeah.
no! I've seen him
Yeah.
once. I've seen him once, but he's in like one panel. Never mind.
All right. Fair enough.
It's half of it or something.
My take would be I haven't really watched a lot of Guy Pearce things. I know he is in the Time Traveler. He was also in Prometheus. Um, but I've seen a lot of Ethan Hawke stuff. You
Uh,
know,
the
I mean,
kind
even Training Day. He's in Training Day. He's in Magnificent Seven and Assault on Prison 13, Black Phone, and all of that. Boyhood. So for me personally, Ethan Hawke, I think, is a better actor in a sense that I think he probably has more experience with Broadway stage something theater
actually,
because
yeah.
because his monologues are amazing. Even like dialogues. I mean the Sunrise trilogy. I think we spoke about it with Richard Linklater.
Yes.
You know how impeccable those movies are, bro. Come on, you know this.
Yes. Yeah.
I just don't see him as an action like it as an actor that could make do action movies. So if we're only comparing them as actors,
Okay.
I would say that Ethan it's a bias. I'm biased, I think.
Yeah. So you haven't seen, just to make sure, you haven't seen Memento and you haven't seen The Count of Monte Cristo, then.
I have seen The Count of Monte Cristo. I haven't seen Memento. I know that it's
You need
Christopher
to watch
Nolan's
Memento.
like one of Christopher Nolan's first movies, which is something that I also want to say. I would say that, and I think there are a lot of actors like this. Guy Pearce is a great main character. I don't think he's a good villain.
Ah.
There are some actors that are great main characters, but when you give them villain roles, it's like they don't really know how to portray villains that well.
Okay.
So, and I think that's why it worked for Iron Man before the reveal, because we just thought it was just a decent guy until at the end. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So that's my point.
So
Guy
definitely.
Pearce is a brilliant actor. No, I'm not saying he's bad at all. He's brilliant, but I prefer him as a main character than a villain. That's what I think.
And Zuko, you got to vote.
Mm,
That's not a good sound.
I honestly, I've watched more Guy Pearce than Ethan Hawke, so
Okay.
Pierce, yeah, Pierce stands out more for me. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can only think of Assault on Precinct 13 and Training Day for Ethan Hawke. I know I watched it. I watched Mimic
Dave.
and I watched something else of his, but I honestly just can't remember it.
I mean, he was in
So,
Magnificent Seven,
What about Black Phone?
Black Phone.
oh yes, Magnificent Seven.
Okay,
Yeah, but honestly, I think also I'm being poisoned because I watched Guy Pearce in Memento and he just blew me away there.
Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
and off the top of my head, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm just saying off the top of my head, I don't think Ethan Hawke has a Memento that I have seen. Let me put it that way, that I have seen.
as a leading man. Nah.
No, he's quite
Yeah, he doesn't have a movie as good as Memento that I have seen.
Yeah. But I was gonna say.
Yeah, no,
And
that's a
please,
good.
people,
That's a
I
good.
said I have seen.
Yes.
No. I think that's a good point. Even if you saw any of his movies, I think that's a very good point. I haven't seen Black Phone, but you make a very strong argument there.
No, that's
Because
Mm.
I think as a leading man, he needs someone else to help him, like a Denzel Washington or a Lawrence Fishburne, or you know what I mean, like a co-lead or something.
well, we need to see Sinister and Black Phone and okay. I will never recommend Predestination to anyone. It's the worst movie ever. But Daybreakers is pretty fantastic. Fair enough. Tsepo? I mean, sorry, Dushane? Dushane?
It's the shade, bro. It's the shade.
He's that top boy, man.
It's that top. I keep saying it's that top boy, bro.
Wagwan, brethren.
Okay, look, if we're going strictly off of just MCU performances, right? I don't necessarily think that Guy Pearce was bad. Like I said, I just criticized the CG of, you know, yeah. So there's not really much you could have done about that. I think his acting was good. Um, hmm. Just looking at the type of ranges that they have, though, I would say Ethan Hawke is probably more recognizable, like just movie-wise for me personally. Um, yeah, bro. I feel like, but Ethan Hawke, I think, moves me more. Maybe even as, yeah, even as a bad guy, he just has that look for me personally, also. So, yeah, but this is just based off of like MCU movies, right? This is not based off of,
Fair enough.
yeah, yeah. If it's just based on that, then yeah, yeah. Um, who's this? Guy Pearce, wasn't he in what's this movie with Constantine? Wasn't he in Constantine?
With Keanu Reeves. No, it wasn't
Yeah.
Constantine.
No,
That's
no.
someone else entirely.
Okay, so who played the angel? The angel Gabriel Galadriel,
Oh,
whatever
that's Tilda. That's Tilda
That was a
Swinton.
Clinton.
That's Tilda Swinton.
Okay, we can
My,
see.
I don't know what you're trying to say about Tilda, bro. I don't know what you're trying to say about Tilda.
I don't know. Maybe these people look alike to me. I'm sorry. You know? But,
You?
Wow.
Okay, wait. But to be fair, Tilda did not play a woman in that role. Let's be honest. To be fair.
okay,
Oh well,
no,
I mean,
yeah,
he
I
was
feel.
supposed to be
But
scandalous, but I'm just saying that's a wild stuff there.
Views
But
expressed by.
it's been very.
What
But keep in mind, it's just been very long since I've seen this movie. Also, I will
No,
admit.
Tilda is amazing. There's a movie where she plays an old man, bro.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's fine. Don't worry.
Back to my
But
tangent, guys. Thanks for paying attention to my tangent. Anyway,
All right.
let's
Cool.
carry
The next one is Thor: The Dark World. I think we can be quick about this one because I'm assuming we're all gonna give it a horrible review, but I'm not sure. You could be surprised. So let's start with
okay,
Clark like we normally do.
Do you, how does Captain? Okay, when we get to Winter Soldier, I have things to say. But anyway,
Okay.
Thor: The Dark World. I think I'm going to be the biggest defender of this on this panel. Um, the acting is great in this movie. I think that's one of the things that, and some of the dialogue is also really good as well. Some of the family, like the problem is that this movie forgets who's the supervillain. That's its biggest issue. Is Malekith is supposed to be the problem, but because Loki is popular, we're just doing Loki again.
Okay.
Some of the humor is also good here, but there's too much of it, at least for the situation that it's supposed to be. And also, like for example, Jane Foster, she does like contribute in the end, but it takes a while for her to be contributing and whatever. And they don't spend enough time on Thor and Jane's relationship anyway to develop her in that aspect. I think one of the things is like the first movie, the reason why she was so critical is because she teaches Thor to stop being a douche, basically. So that's why she was so critical there. I think here they didn't know how to utilize her well. There's also a lot more Kat Dennings, which I don't mind, but it's just like also her character is just like comedy relief for the sake of comedy relief.
Okay.
It doesn't really go anywhere. But Hemsworth is the best he's ever like this performance he put in here, and I know people like, and I know even he himself, he said something about how he didn't really bring anything. I totally disagree. This Thor is the Thor we see in Infinity War, if you pay attention. This Thor, because like his performance here, he's two different people. If you look at Thor and Thor 1 and you look at Thor here, he's got that warriorness about him, but he's not reckless anymore. Like
Mm.
he's finally got that maturity of he realizes that he's the one that needs to step up to the situation, but at the same time, he should probably try to negotiate before he starts throwing hands. And there's that brilliant scene between him and Odin where he's like,
Yeah.
What is the difference between us and Malekith?" And it's like, "The difference is I will win." And you can see it in Thor's face where Thor's like, "My dad is losing it. Like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing here," and whatever. And also the death of Frigga, even though it's like kind of skipped over,
the actors really bring the gravitas to that. We see that even though we didn't spend enough time with her at all, she was holding the household together. Because even Loki, like, and Tom Hiddleston's performance in that thing was also great. But yeah, the problem with this movie is that yeah, it's too unfocused. They forget who the villain is and they introduce him in the third act at the end of the third act anyway. And yeah, there's a lot of humor here that distracts from the main crux of the story, and also the ether or whatever. It was just weird. Like I didn't understand how that became an Infinity Stone eventually. But anyway, yeah, like I said, 6.7. I agree with that score. I yeah, but I'm not gonna say that it was like horrible, 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 especially compared to what we have now.
Okay. Cool. Zooks.
Buck's Buck's last comment actually, what we have now elevates this movie to an 8. What we are watching now, what is it, phase 4 or phase whatever? Phase 4. This movie becomes an easy an 8. Okay, I think this is this movie also suffers the same thing with Iron Man 3. They weren't locked in on their goal. So they kind of had an idea what they wanted to do, but they didn't have a proper end goal for it. So it kind of meandered. There was a lot of meandering where things were just happening to happen, but not to, and they weren't moving the plot along. They weren't moving the characters along. They weren't moving the plot along. So mm, acting wise, it was good. I enjoy Kat Danning, so I really didn't have an issue with that. Um, uh, and like I think the most disappointing thing was for me the Thor and Jane story. They didn't really do anything with it. It was like kind of there, but just like for this, it was spoken about more by other characters than by them being together and actually figuring some things out. So that was from that point was disappointing. They didn't really make the villain menacing. You just knew he was bad, but there was nothing that you saw that was like yo. This was Shalan. So that was another thing as well they could have improved on. Um, yeah, man. I don't really have much to say about this movie. I think after I was so hyped about the first one and then this one came out, I was left a little flat. And I'll just give it a 6.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
saying Malekith is supposed to be the villain, but it's just like, is he?
Yeah, look, Malekith feels like a tertiary character in this movie. If I remember,
Yeah.
I've watched this movie like I think 10 years ago, but I feel like I don't even remember any of his lines. I know he was not even speaking in English for the most part, but I don't even remember what he was saying because I don't feel like he spoke a lot in the first place.
And look, you
Um,
don't have to speak a lot to be a great villain, but your presence needs to be felt.
No, but you need screen time. That's the thing. If you look at Malekith, he had no screen time in that movie.
But that's where the presence comes
that's
in.
what yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say as well. That
Batman had more screen time and was more menacing, in my opinion. The guy, the servant guy,
Yeah.
yes,
Black.
Curse.
yes,
Curse. His name is Curse.
There we go. Yeah, I
yeah.
felt like he had more to him.
And it just seems like half of the movie we're just watching Loki grieve his mom, right?
Yes, and I think this is when the MCU started favoring the popular characters instead of the story.
Yeah, it
I
went
think
Game of
this
Thrones. Yeah.
I think this is where it started because everybody loved Loki, but like, dog, this is not a Loki movie. Loki is a secondary character.
Um.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying,
Oh.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah.
um, so Also, Anthony Hopkins' performance here is amazing. I mean, one of my favorite lines in all of MCU movies is "Your birthright was to die." I really like that. It's like he was just flexing for a second, like, guys, don't forget who I am. I'm Anthony Hopkins. And they were still using that whole Shakespearean thing, even though it was really diluted in this movie. From the first movie to this one, there was still some Shakespearean stuff, but it was very, very much diluted. Um, the Warriors 3 also, they just have a cameo in this one. And you finally see Zachary Levi because they always wanted him in this one, but he just has one line. He's gonna betray you. I'm like, that's all? You guys should have just brought the first actor in this. But yeah, the fact that Loki betrays Thor again, it kind of sucks for me because it's like, what are we doing, dude? You just lost your mom. You should be closer to your brother. Captain America cameo is cool. Kat Dennings, like Buckmeister said, he said it perfectly. Actually, it feels like I feel like he read my mind. There's a part where he kisses someone, and I feel like, why? It's not necessary for this moment is not necessary whatsoever. you know. But I would say if I had seen it and I'm not a comic book fan, I probably might have liked it just because of the humor aspect alone. But it's not one of the movies that people talk about when they talk about MCU movies. I don't think it even comes to mind unless we're talking about some the least favorite movies in the MCU. So for me, I'd be with Buck on this one and give it a 5 point. No, let me be honest, 6.5. That's me.
Be honest. Going full Beckham. Cool. 6.5. You said.
Yeah.
Cool. 1 minute.
Yabo.
Cool. So, you guys, I feel like you guys have covered a lot of what I was gonna say. I do actually, funny enough, now that Zuko has said it, I do think that the newer movies have polished this one by mistake, if you know what I mean. Like, the reasons to be angry about this movie get heavily diluted when you look at what the slop we're being fed right now, where we're like, be grateful and be happy. You know what I mean? Like,
Prison slop.
yes.
No,
Like,
at least the dialogue in this one is good. Like that's the thing. Like the dialogue between the characters, it feels like it's characters talking. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like this is a director trying to like if you compare this
To Love
to
and Thunder.
Thunder, oh my god.
yeah.
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 Speaking of the director, actually, the director is.
Velasquez was kind of scary and kind of had agency versus Gore. Like Gore was right in front of Thor at some stage, and Thor is like, "I gotta talk about my relationship. Hold on, keep kidnapping the children." What?
But yeah, the director's name is Alan Taylor, different director from one of my favorite directors, Eric Bana, who did the first one. And I think that's why we lost some of that Shakespearean talk.
Is it not Kenneth Branagh?
Sorry, Kenneth Branagh. Sorry, Kenneth Branagh. That Shakespearean talk. Kenneth Branagh is into that because, as you know, we did a video on what's it,
Frankenstein, yeah.
So if anyone can do fancy dialogue, it's Kenneth Branagh, and that's probably why we lost it here. They probably try to catch up on it. I mean, this guy did Terminator Genesis, so that gives you an idea of kind of the directing that we kind of got here. I feel like you'll notice how none of us mentioned the climax like at all because it was
It's forgettable. I don't remember the climax.
Yeah, exactly. I know they had to like teleport to different locations at the same time. There's a lot of forgettable things in this movie. I even forgot about how good. You're right. You guys reminded me now how good the performance of Anthony Hopkins is. I almost want to break away into a tangent about how good Anthony Hopkins is in everything he does. He takes every role he takes seriously, and even in this little bit, he goes ham.
Did you watch Transformers 5?
Nah, his rent was due that on. I guess. I didn't watch it.
Anakolota takes.
But you cannot tell me that the guy who was in Fracture or who was in The Mask of Zorro or who was in whatever you can think of was not brilliant. This man is impeccable. Westworld.
I'm not taking nothing away from Anthony Hopkins, but hey, dog, I don't know what that was in Transformers 5. But
No, I get it. I haven't even read two. The movie Red 2, I didn't really feel his performance in that one.
That's
It wasn't bad, but it was forgettable.
But anyway, I was just saying that I remember the climax. I think the climax was because it kind of reminded me of like Mortal Kombat meets a game called Portal, because they were basically portaling bits
Yeah.
and pieces off of Malekith. So I thought that was kind of cool because it kind of took everybody to beat him, even though it should have just taken Thor. But I guess because he had the ether. But yeah,
They had to give people something to do. But my opinion, wasn't a big fan of it. I just think it was a downgrade, but at the same time, with things we're getting now, I can almost respect it more now in comparison. But in my opinion, big downgrade from the first Thor movie, which I thought was underappreciated. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I don't think it gets elevated to such a big number, and we got to give some of these movies low numbers. So yeah, but then yeah, so that's my score. Anyway, Seppo, I mean Dushan. I'm used to his name.
So you're just gonna keep butchering my name every
I'm
time.
gonna try.
Yeah, man. Thor 3. Yo, it is a little bit not very
No, Thor
memorable.
2
Oh, is it Thor 2?
2, not
Yes.
3.
with the ether,
It's the one with the dark elves
the red juice.
and the ether.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that was the second one. Honestly, it wasn't that memorable of a film for me. One thing that did catch me off guard with it, that I do remember, I think it struck me, was how dark it looked. Right? It almost felt very like DC-esque. I'm just talking about the actual like color and the photo of like how everything looked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was meant to mimic the fact that I think it was taking place in Europe or something, right?
Yes.
But this one, yeah. Yeah, so I don't necessarily know if that had something to do with it. But yeah, that was a little bit off-putting, especially when you mix that in with very bad CGI. The ether itself and how it looked. I mean, it's just this red. What do you even call that substance, bro?
Cranberry
You know?
juice.
Yeah. So the floating auras, it didn't necessarily do it for me, you know. But it was fine, I guess, in some aspects. Jane Foster's friend, I remember her. She was a bit annoying, but I do think she had something to do in the last fight, right? Because with the portals or something, she helped with the fight or something. Yeah, so I mean, I guess maybe she had like a different dynamic to Jane, who also for me kind of like just falls into the wayside because she's another smart scientist. Like, oh, how many of those do we have in Marvel? You know, yeah. So the overall, and Malekith as well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just have very high standards for villains, right? But yeah, he just had like clones, bro. Like like Star Wars where they had like the white troopers and stuff. He just has an army of those. Maybe one good guy, and he himself is not very compelling. So it was overall very flat, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably give it like a solid 4. But what I will say,
Jeez.
right? I do like the fact that we went to Asgard, although we didn't necessarily explore the people. Because what I'm supposed to understand with Asgardians is they're supposed to be like a race of super tough warriors or something, right? So I don't necessarily know if we exactly got around to that. Even Thor's friends. I think Thor had friends at some point, right?
The
So like,
Warriors 3.
is that in 3?
phase when we get to phase 4 of 7 Up, like you guys better be doling out ones and twos. I don't think you guys realize how bad.
That's funny, bro.
But it was just very poor, man. It was very poor. Like even as like mind junk, like there's some movies that even if the story isn't very well done, right? But everything else from a presentation point of view, like Avatar, it just looks beautiful. So you forgive those things, right? But Thor didn't look beautiful to me to cover up the misses and the mistakes enough, Yeah, so I think that's my main issue with it. But overall, it was fine. It wasn't as bad as I guess what we're getting now. But it still doesn't get over
If
like
you're
a 5.
giving this a 4, What are you gonna give Love and Thunder? -3.
We'll see.
Oh goodness, is that hot mess, bro? Oh, now you kind of like giving me like an idea of like how low the bar is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty low. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still writing off of like yeah, but still okay, maybe 6. I'll give it a 6.
At least, dog. I'm telling you, dog. Yo,
Yeah,
you
no,
just
no,
you
you're
watch
right about Love and Thunder because I still have my complaints about that too, but it's fine. I will
yeah,
get to that
you
when
watch,
we get to it.
you watch Ragnarok. It's like Whiplash. It's like, oh, you guys actually used to take Thor seriously.
Well, yeah. So
Look
that's
what they did to my boy.
they massacred my boy. Yeah.
Remy might join us. I don't know. So I don't think I'm not paying attention. I'm just in talks with him. So
Remy LeBlue.
yeah.
Cards
Hey,
with
cool. Let's go to the next one now.
All right.
By
Yeah.
the
The
way,
next
my
one
whole
is
life for this one, man, boy.
Captain America: Winter Soldier. Came out in 2014. Personally, I think it's probably a bit decent. But before I get into my thing, Buck, it's you, man.
Whoever gave this score needs to see me. Who
This is the
who
first. This is the first film directed by the Russo brothers, by the way, in the MCU.
who 6.7? Who like yo, IMDb? Whoever rated this, give me your credentials because you don't understand movies. I don't understand. I don't understand how this is a 6.7.
Okay,
Bro,
go
this
on,
is
go
the
on.
movie that made people love Captain America because let's be honest, even in Avengers, everybody was like, "Ah, Captain America is like my third favorite or whatever. His suit is kind of goofy or whatever. Like, what's so special about this guy, really?" And all of us who love Captain America 1, Captain America Winter Soldier takes all of that stuff and steps it up even more. Like,
Mhm.
everything you love about Cap is crystallized in this film. Like from the fact that he's going rogue, because that's another thing people don't understand about Captain America. They keep thinking he's a government stooge. That guy goes rogue every Tuesday.
And I like, I like the fact that um, he was even having issues trusting Natasha, especially in the first scene, in the first part of the movie. Yeah, because it was like,
Yeah,
okay, so clearly you and Fury are on a different mission than I am here. Like, what's
yes.
going
Like,
on?
this is the movie that reminds us that Shield is still a spy organization. Like that's the thing that I think part of the MCU has lost is that Shield is still like an arm of the government, and they still like are trying to keep secrets and things and all of that stuff. And like Captain America, he comes from World War II, where it was simply get the Nazis, destroy the bad guys. So you get to see that there's a big conflict in this movie between those two ideologies because the world is now more complicated than Captain America remembers. But he still has to he's still him. He can't fight like he can't fight his better nature, which is also part of why in Civil War the way that it is, he's just like we are the best hands at this because where he comes from, it was soldiers that decided things, not politicians, if you get
Mhm.
what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
this movie was fire from top to bottom. Winter Soldier, when Winter Soldier came in, that was a foil for Captain America in a lot of ways, and the fact that we discovered it was Bucky who was brainwashed, which is a direct pull from the comic books. Like that's another thing. This movie showed you what happens when you adapt comic books, make changes, but still respect the source material. How you can get a really awesome film because the Russos said we have to make Captain America cool. So they went because they didn't find Captain America cool growing up. So they went through his comic books to scrub and see what they could pull to make a cool Captain America movie. And I'm telling you, this is the poster boy for using source material to inspire your work. Like if anybody ever says don't use the source material, I always point to Winter Soldier to be like they did it. Like
It can be
Hydra's
done.
involved. Bucky is white mind wash. These are things from the comic books. You just need to change them for the medium of film or whatever. And a shout out to Falcon. Falcon is kind of cool, but he doesn't get to really beat anybody. And also, he had a line that really annoyed me. where he's just like, "Hey, don't look at me. I just do what he does, but
Ah,
slower."
Just slower.
I'm so glad you said that.
Idiot!
But I'm gonna get it.
Captain America can't fly.
I
You
can do
throw
what he
Captain America in
I,
the sky, he's dead.
I can do what he does, just slower. Dude, Frank Grillo kicked your ass. Like-
That's part of the reason why people aren't really hyped for Brave New World like that, because I'm like, the MCU constantly gave Falcon L's.
Yep. Yeah, give it
There's
Ant-Man. Yeah, they handed him an L for free in Ant-Man. Just for no.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about. I was like,
Yeah.
we're coming up on another one where Falcon just got an L for no reason.
for free.
It's not gonna happen again, Tic Tac.
That's my spiel. We can move on to somebody else.
What's your rating?
Oh, my rating. Sorry, my rating. This is a solid 9.
9. Wow.
Jeez.
Dude, this
okay.
movie is fire.
All right, Buck, on your left. Zooks.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. Nice reveal to see who the Winter Soldier was. Cap was solid as being Cap. Actually, I don't really have a lot to say about this movie. I enjoyed it. It was solid, man. Give it an 8.
Oh. Rob?
Okay, I think this movie like probably rocked my world so well because basically, give me 1 second. Gotta put this man's details in. Okay, 8 you said. Okay, cool. Basically, what this movie did was, okay, it kind of established in my mind what a set piece is. This is something me and Kutz have discussed about the art of a set piece. Everyone knows, of course, the Nick Fury police when we meet the Winter Soldier for the first time, when Nick Fury gets attacked, that whole sequence from boom to Nick Fury running away in the ground. It was directing at its finest, where you get to really see this. Like that really inspired me as a director. So I really love the Russos. I love the fact that it's like they put so much thought in these little moments where you can really build from Nick Fury, and then they evolved it even further with what Buck said about making Captain America look so cool. I mean, him jumping from the helicopter and landing on the boat. I mean, jumping from the helicopter without a parachute, like that was not something I
using
knew.
his shield.
Yeah, I didn't know he could do that. Like that was okay. Maybe he's not garbage. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe he's not just some guy who's a little bit stronger.
Yeah, look, I think you and I spoke about this before. Josh, we didn't really know how to use Captain America. These guys knew how to use Captain America.
And the way the chase, oh my god, when he runs through the doors, like to chase the Winter Soldier, like jumping, was it building to building, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Amazing. And then, of course, what is it? The one
Like he hops through the walls with the shield. It was kind of really cool.
Hot damn! Like, and then, of course, taking down the airplane, and then, dude, everything came, the sequence to sequence, step by step by step, leading into another step. I cannot gush more about a more directorial showcase of action than this movie, where it's action but it makes sense. Like the John Wick people need to take notes of how you can make a storyline make sense and then you still get cool action. I love John Wick, but what was that poker thing? What was happening? Do you know what I mean? Like I really enjoy this so much. Solid 9.1 out of 10 for me.
Wow.
I think we watched John Wick because we were held at gunpoint. The fourth one.
Yes. They kidnapped our wallet.
Hey dog, our dogs were kidnapped and we had no choice. We only got them back after we finished it.
Yes.
I mean, if you're watching a movie and the credits say Donnie Yen and then they also say Scott Adkins, you would want to watch the movie.
Dude, I fell asleep. I finally finished that movie like on my 4th attempt. I literally and it's an action movie. I don't need thought. I just need to watch like 2 lines. Scop, 2 lines, scop. Like I didn't need much to get me going, but like
The best action. It's some of the best.
and the action is so dope. I think that's the worst part. Like how am I falling asleep?
It's trying to be something it's not. It's not a deep movie, but it's trying to be one.
Yeah.
So Jordan, you next, ne?
Yeah. So
Uh,
for me,
anyway,
this movie was spoiled. Like my best friend gave me like the reveal about Bucky before I even watched it. It's kind of like the whole Jiraiya's death thing. So it didn't affect me the way it did with everybody, like because that was already spoiled. But look, for me, I think this movie took things up a notch. I think when the Russo brothers came in, they really upped the stakes. Like I said, the Shane Black Iron Man 3, I love watching it, but for me, it felt like a letdown, especially after Avengers. Captain America's Winter Soldier, for me, after Avengers, makes sense. In terms of quality, in terms of the writing, in terms of action sequences, in terms of how they treat Captain America and so on. Everything just looked incredible. The only thing that I think I have an issue with, but I wouldn't blame it on the Russo brothers in this particular movie, is that the Black Widow was terrified of the Winter Soldier, but you see her fighting Proxima Midnight in Infinity Wars. You're like, why are you afraid of the Winter Soldier if you're gonna be fighting a whole Proxima Midnight later on?
This is the problem with the MCU. Just a quick side note. If they had stuck to some of the comic book stuff, because in the comic books, Black Widow gets something called the Infinity Formula, which is like equal to the Super Soldier Serum. So if between movies she got like the Infinity Formula and they said, yeah, we injected this into your veins and it makes you quote unquote a super soldier, and then she's boxing with Proxima Midnight, it makes more sense than just her and Team Acrobatics fighting off aliens. But anyway.
No,
acrobatics.
welcome, Remy. It's good to see you, bro. Okay,
to see
so
you.
as I was saying, the action sequences are amazing. I think we were all hyped when we saw Bucky fight Cap for the first time with the knife. That close hand-to-hand combat fight choreography. I mean, it was amazing to a point where YouTube was just filled with what if Dick Grayson was fighting the world, Jason Todd, like it was just everywhere. It was just everywhere. And I think also Nick Fury gets a lot of screen time in this one. There's a lot of, because if you remember, Phase 2 was more about Hydra infiltrating Shield for the most part. That was the main theme of Phase 2, if you guys remember correctly. To a point where they realized that even some Shield operatives are within and all of that. And also, we haven't spoken about this before already, but if we're being honest, Robert Redford was amazing in this movie, even though his role is not that big, but he was a villain in this movie, and he played the role very well. Um, yeah, this movie is great. I think you could say that the Winter Soldier is a bit overpowered, or you could say that Cap didn't want to fight his friend. But Sam Wilson, for me, this is his best moment in this movie. I would say this movie, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's where he really shines the most, for me, in my opinion.
Actually,
But yeah, I really liked it. I'd give it I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
one thing to what you're saying there. I think you kind of right. It kind of makes you think about writing, right? About how you get the cerebral villain. But the way they made they made Winter Soldier so powerful. He was like the physical villain, where
Yeah,
again there were no
like Bane
plans.
in Dark Knight Rises.
See, Bane had grand plans. This man doesn't. He's
But remember, later we
No,
realized that
him specifically.
Bane was
what
following
this movie does
orders.
brilliantly, I think what this movie does brilliantly is that it's still Cap versus Hydra. But it's him fighting an entity. It's not him fighting like a person. It's not like he's fighting Red Skull's ideology instead of Red Skull, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
But the idea of a physical villain is like an underused concept. I don't know if you guys understand. Like outside of a boxing movie, like you don't really get to see that often. Where like someone isn't just smarter than you, but like, oh no, they come in and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do when they show up, kind of thing. I really like that about Bucky. Like he really gave you a sense of fear. Like I'm talking about how Guy Pearce wasn't as intimidating. You know what I mean? Whereas Bucky was absolutely intimidating.
Right.
That's great.
Like when Bucky came on the screen, you were like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, I think even the camera slowed down, didn't it?
That
So
like,
he
and you
also
know, and I don't know, maybe it was also the angles they used or whatever. But like when he came on screen, you felt, and when like when Killian, when he changed into the his serum thing, they still you still felt like he's this cool nerd or whatever, you know,
Yeah,
this nerd who's trying too hard.
exactly. But yeah,
Sorry, but I think you were trying to say something, but we can't hear you anymore. I don't know what's going on. We can't hear you
can you
properly
hear me
anymore.
now?
Yeah, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was saying also when he caught the shield, I
Mm.
think that's what solidified it as because nobody's caught that freaking shield ever since Cap threw it in and Captain America won.
So that
That
thing
shield that defies physics.
by physics.
Hmm.
yes.
No, but how
Um,
does the shield boomerang back? It's round.
And Spider-Man says that. He's
no,
like,
but
how does this work?
yeah,
It's
I mean,
vibrate.
they sort of tried to explain it in Age of Ultron. I think he has like a magnetic thing on his arm or something. If you guys
No,
Yeah,
remember.
but
the way
first
it's
Avenger,
explained
you
is
didn't have
because of super soldier brain.
Mm. Yeah, that's the general explanation. Yeah, is that he's doing trigonometry literally in like a split second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Cyclops, but instead of a visor, he's using a shield.
all I heard from I don't know if it would just count as canon though, but they remember like they had like that whole Ultimate Universe, if any of you have ever heard of it. There was
Yes.
yeah, the comics were not so good. But the movies explain that Cap Shield, because of the way vibranium behaves, it tends to absorb so much kinetic energy that it has to discharge it somewhere. So the shield does the same way, just bounces off. I don't know how far true that is. I don't know if that's canon to the MCU, but that's one explanation we got from the whole shield thing.
It makes sense. Yeah, the vibration's bouncing. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So next person is Dushane.
Yeah, I think yeah, Duchesne, please come through, and then afterwards, Remy
Yeah,
will
Remy
give
will.
us his full review.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just keep mine quick also on my side. Brilliant movie overall, I'd say. I think one of the great differences that we saw with this movie was the fact that, as I complained about earlier with the earlier movies, was the CGI was so bad, bro. So with this one, I think because of the fact that they made it more quote unquote street tier, you know, it was more believable. It was more gunfights, John Wick style, so to
Grounded.
speak.
It was more grounded.
Yeah, it was mercenaries, people with guns, and you know, it wasn't necessarily magic and all of that all the time. So I think that made the quality of the movie better, I'd say, right? Because there weren't so many fake elements. Captain America, oh, no, yes, Captain America had also a few memorable scenes. So I like movies that have a lot of memorable scenes, like the elevator scene where Captain America is chilling there with a bunch of the Hydra guys, and he's like, okay, before he gets started, you know. So those type of moments that live on, and you're like, okay, this is what I remember about the film. I think that's what makes it great. Um, Great villain, right? Complain about the villains before, but oh yeah, Bucky was just oh yeah, and I think the other dynamic for him was also the fact that there was emotional gravity from him, from the hero to the antagonist, and the fact that they're friends. You're fighting someone who's clearly trying to kill you, and who can? Oh my God, can they kill you, right? But at the same time, you really don't want to fight this guy at the same time. So from Captain America's perspective, how do you deal with that? So I think the movie kind of went into that pretty well, I'd say. Yeah, man, it was all around pretty solid. It was a very memorable movie without the CGI. Oh, thank God, you know. But yeah, it was really really good. I can't really complain too much about it. I'll probably give this one a 9, bro, overall.
And then
Cool.
it's Remy LeBlue.
Yo, Remy, you're up.
Yes, sir. Mo.
Yeah, all right. Go ahead, bro.
Get it, man.
All right, what do I got today? Winter Soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I thought about it. I kind of like they carried a lot of the same tone from the first Avenger, but what I like about this one is that Cap is reduced to bare bones in the sense that he has to go into hiding. And I love that aspect that it challenges the symbol of what Captain America is. Is he still like a government GI issue, or is he his own autonomous person who gets to decide what he wants? So essentially, I like that whole dynamic because it really brings out those type of philosophical questions about Captain America being anti-establishment, which is pretty cool. And the action scenes, wow, especially the elevator one, the fact that it's a meme that still lives till this day. I kind of like Frank Grillo's character. You know, the Frank
Yeah.
Grillo guy, the one who was in the elevator.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Crossbones.
Crossbones.
Best B movie action stars.
Yeah, he is not gonna lie. He was kind of underrated as like a secondary antagonist. Like he was just always there to be, pushing Cap's buttons, and that elevator scene was cool. And not gonna lie, Black Widow was also underrated in this whole thing. You know, I liked this movie in the sense that it brought her a spy type of feeling. Usually, whenever she's always in the Avengers, she doesn't feel like a spy. Like not like we know it from the comics. In the comics, infiltrating Russian syndicates. The whole thing with the Red Room. It feels more like she really is a spy. The moment she gets mixed together in Avengers, you kind of lose that element, and you're like, oh, okay, here's the lady who wears the jumpsuit and the baton. So I like that aspect as well as the last scene when they switch back to the original costume. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fanboy for that one. The OG costume was pretty cool. It felt really, really rugged and well shaped. As well as even the costume design with the darker costume, they try to give Cap a more Black Opsy look. It was good. There was a good touch on that one. As well as Falcon, he was really a really, really awesome character. Look on your left type guy, and I like how they touched on his past history, give us context as to which brand of the army is, because it really felt grounded. No CGI, no grand magical battles, interdimensional threats. It was just something that was grounded. That you felt that it had that mature storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No blue lasers from the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, no blue lasers, guys. So as a rating, I'd probably give this one a solid 9.
I do have one criticism, and I guess it's just the criticism that follows. It's just kind of like you couldn't call the Hulk at all one time.
Yeah, his banner busy.
What makes it fun, dude? That the Hulk is like volatile. Like you can't just have him conveniently there all the time. Because you could bring him into the fight.
Hulk smash those helicarriers.
Yeah, one time, put him inside there, turn him on, sorted.
Oh, and another thing that I did have is that again, it's a thing in retrospect, and I guess it's a problem that follows the MCU, but it's not a big problem at this time in the MCU. But it's kind of like, Tony, you hacked the whole of Shield and you didn't see any of Hydra.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, level 1 hack.
All right. So, Rob, are we still fine? Are we going up to Age of Ultron?
I think we should stop at Guardians, in my opinion, and then start with, how we start with an Avengers movie today? I think let's start next time with an Avengers movie.
All right. So the last movie of the day is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, directed by James Gunn. I think you guys already know the cast: Vin Diesel, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, and Bradley Cooper. So yeah, Rob, you're on, man. Sorry, not Rob, Bugs.
Oh, okay. First off and foremost, this is the most acting I've seen Vin Diesel do in like the last 10 years.
I am good.
Wow.
The hate is strong in this.
Just from the get-go, bro. Like,
just the
grenade launcher.
I've said this before, I said it again. He does the most acting in that one line than the entirety of Fast and Furious after Fast and Furious 3. Or Fast and Furious 3. No, look at Fast and Furious 3 and compare it. Groot, I feel things. Dom Toretto, I don't feel nothing, bro. I don't feel shit. Dom Toretto will cry over Letty. I don't feel anything. This nigga says we are Groot. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Fair enough.
Bro decided to bring the haterade. Sponsored by Haterade.
Haterade or Factorade? Tell me right now, Vin Diesel has done a decent performance in Fast and Furious, past Fast and Furious 4. No, not even. Let's even go to Fast and Furious 4. That guy's been a robot.
It works for Arnold. It works for Arnold. You can be a
Yeah, but Arnold is doing action movies.
Arnold has Terminator. Does Vin Diesel have Terminator? No.
Well, he's got that.
That's
Lion.
that weird superhero one. Where isn't he a robot there?
No, he wasn't a robot. He was blind though. What's it called?
I
Actually,
think
like
of Riddick. But there's another one where he resets or something like that.
Oh, he's got like
Once again,
9 inside.
I'm just saying. But getting back to this film, this is where if you're a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, this might piss you off a little bit. Because I think what it does is it leans into kind of the goofiest traits of each character. I mean, first off, at least Drax is Drax. If you're a comic book fan, at least Drax is Drax here. I think Batista's Drax here is the best Drax has ever been. Drax never.
He's supposed to be stronger than this, though, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, I was about to say.
he's stronger than this.
No. His strength is one thing. I'm just talking about the character. The fact that Drax is a tortured man who lost his family to
Oh,
Thanos.
okay.
He takes himself seriously in this one.
Board. Yeah, he takes himself seriously, and also he's a dude who's constantly in pain, and also it's like he was designed to kill Thanos, so all he can think about is killing Thanos. So now he does a dumb thing in the movie where he summons Thanos' horde to try and fight Thanos one-on-one. So that was really good. Rocket Raccoon also is fire in here. I think Rocket Raccoon is the most consistent out of the Guardians. We get Gamora. Gamora also is she's okay in this film. All right, she's not like a huge standout personality. I think she's more of a standout later in other films, but there's still solid grounding here. The guy who changes the most from the comic books is surprise, surprise, Star-Lord. So he decided to, who?
I was going to mention that.
He was queer.
I should have to Jaimon Hansu with his one line. Yo, that's another thing. MCU wasted Jaimon Hansu. Like, he should not have been in this film. Should have quoted him in Black Panther. He should have been on the council or something. Yeah. Anyway, the guy who changes the because Star-Lord in the comic books he's more of a hardline, like eventually he becomes like more of a hardline military dude. So he does have jokes and he does have one-liners, but he also is like there's times where he has like a Captain America mode where it's like, okay, like Captain America fused with Tony Stark a little bit, where he's snarky, but he's like, yeah, we got to get shit done. So here they just made him. No. The Han Solo thing, that's a pure MCU.
Alright.
Yeah, he's not a Han Solo type in the comic books. Like he is very competent in terms of not that Han Solo isn't incompetent, but like Han Solo, you put him in a fist fight,
Yeah.
you don't know. Whereas
The guy that shoots you, that's what happens in Han. You put
Yeah.
a fist fight, he shoots you.
yeah,
Who
he
shot
doesn't
first?
have a gun, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
That's not Star-Lord in the comic books.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but anyway, all in all, it's a fun film. The villain is the weakest part of this, which I guess is not a crime, but it is like, yo, if you're a Ronan the Accuser fan, ooh, I feel so bad for you.
What are we doing? We're having a dance battle, baby.
Oh God, yeah,
Poor Lee Pace. Oh, poor Lee Pace.
yeah. But yeah, fun characters, fun vibe. One of the better MCU movies, and strong showing from James Gunn. It's just that if you are looking for comic book accuracy, and yes, I did know the Guardians of the Galaxy before this freaking movie. Don't come at me with that nonsense.
Yo.
And
Oh.
also,
You-
this is where we actually see Josh Brolin's version of Thanos, right?
No, it wasn't Josh. I think Josh is the third recast. or somebody else, wasn't it?
He's the second.
No, I think it was Josh.
CGI, wasn't it?
Okay, it must be Josh. It must be Josh then. Okay. Yeah, then yeah. Also, yeah, and that they have that weird conversation where Thanos is just like, yeah, it's not my time yet to stand up. I have to sit on this chair until Infinity War.
The
But
script says so, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
It's not my time to stand.
but
Okay, Zooks,
yeah.
it's you, bro.
Anyway,
No, wait, the
oh,
score?
sorry, a rating score. This one will be I'll say 7.8.
Alrighty. Cool.
Wait, what stops it from being a solid 8?
I don't know. The villain dog is just he's nothing. Like Ronan the Accuser is one of the biggest, like baddest dudes in space Marvel, and they just made him a guy who pouts and cries and gets beaten by a dance battle. It's kind of like eh. And also the Nova Corps. That's another thing. Oh, I hated how they did the Nova
Oh,
Corps.
they nerfed
The Nova-
the core then. Yeah.
No, it's not the Nova Corps. Where's the helmets? Where the freaking helmets? Why are we in Star Wars?
Because we want to show you guys the actors that are in this movie. We want the
Oh.
actors to we want to show you guys the actors.
Oh, it's like
This is the lone problem.
That's why Thor barely wears a helmet in these movies.
no, Thor. I mean, as much as he should wear the helmet, I don't mind. But the Nova Corps, that's where the powers are. Like you guys are useless without these things.
There's a name for this. It's called the Stallone problem, man. Where I don't know if you guys remember the Judge
Yeah,
Dredd movies.
Judge Dredd, yeah, where he took the mask on for like 80% of the movie.
Yep. Meanwhile, another Carl Urban basically killed it with just this bottom half of his face.
That was brilliant.
That was
But Carl Urban can act in his defense.
Yep.
Stallone
Just-
can act when he wants. But anyway,
Just a quick question. Does T'Challa ever really take out, like before the movies? Was he taking out his helmet as the Black Panther?
Ah, good point. That's a good question.
in comic books,
Yeah.
yeah, he does it. a lot.
he doesn't take it off as often.
No,
Yeah.
in the comic books he does.
Does he?
Yeah,
Does
he's
he?
in and out of that suit in the comic books. You read a lot of his runs. He's in and out of that suit because
No,
he
no,
doesn't.
no, no. What I mean is he has the suit on, but he doesn't have the visor on.
Oh no, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens.
Before the
Um,
movie. Before the movie.
If you read the third volume of Black Panther comics, he
Okay.
does that a lot, and also in volume 4. Like the thing is, because he's a king, he doesn't have a secret identity. When he's actually undercover, he doesn't do that. But when he's just regular Black Panther NJ, like if he needs to keep it on, he keeps it on. But he does go in and out of the suit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, he's not
So-
Spider. T'Challa's like, come find me and you'll die.
Okay, Zooks.
T'Challa be like, fuck around and find out.
Fuck around.
Okay, so one of my favorite things in this movie was obviously the music, the soundtrack. It was well picked out. The songs were well picked out. They were well placed and well executed. The movie was fun. What's his name? Waikiki. This is how you do a fun movie without losing the plot. So pay attention. Don't now take all the mushrooms. Leave some for later. Yeah, I didn't know any of the characters here, so that also probably lessened my expectations on them. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun. It was humorous. The action was dope. Groot and Rocket were my favorite things about the movie, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Had a good time. Loved it. Solid 7.5 movie.
See, when's the last time you said that about Dom Toretto?
Funny. Rob,
Khet.
My government name
damn,
Evil.
government names. Vietnam.
No, like no. He's you know what he's doing right now? He's messing with family.
A family of bad acting, but anyway.
Rob, it's you, man.
Alrighty. This is it's kind of a funny situation with this movie actually, because if you actually think about the nuts and bolts, it's actually not that original a film, but the way it's done is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I think what's his face, James Gunn is a fun director. I think he's got a style. I think he's already established his style as a director at this point, and you kind of see it being moving on into the future. And this is a great start with how everything is. Everyone gets kind of painted as their own person. The setup for Star-Lord is genuinely fun. The whole old music thing, I don't know if that's comic accurate, but I genuinely enjoy it, and I think it adds a layer.
It's not. It's an MCU thing.
And I think they even sort of like does this thing where Rhodey is watching like past past Star-Lord dancing by himself because he's not listening to the music that Star-Lord is listening to. He's like, this guy? This is your leader? Like, okay.
Yeah, stuff like that is it gave it its own uniqueness, its own heart. I think this is just I think it's a very well done movie. And the other part, but I will say again, I think there's some elements in the writing itself that feel a bit stale and cliche. Like I've seen this before. This is kind of taking long. I wish this wasn't happening in the middle act anyway, in Act 2. But then again, that's every movie. Even Logan kind of has slowness in the second act. That's always bound to happen. Like the prison scenes, I didn't enjoy that much, and the fact and how they get into prison, not the biggest fan. But the actual character dynamics, which I think is Edgar Wright's biggest strength, the actual character interactions is what really pushed the story through and held us all into the end. And
You mean James Gunn?
James Gunn, sorry. And the twist at the ending, the reversal. I mean, I would argue that Doctor Strange kind of did it more uniquely, but I think the reversal here is absolutely unique, fantastic. I'm a big fan. I also have a hot take, and I don't know if you guys know, but Edgar Wright was supposed to have made this movie. And
Wasn't he supposed to have made Ant-Man?
Oh shit, was it Ant-Man?
Yeah, it was Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Shit. Okay, then never mind then. But yeah, I still think he would have done a good job with this, but I think this is a decent movie that was made great by its director. And I think this is the point where Zaslav, is it Zaslav? The committee that was kind of overseeing stuff, I think they'd already left at this point, right?
You mean Bob Iger?
No.
No,
It was
you
Kevin
mean
Feige.
Pearl Matter. You mean Pearl Matter.
Yes, Pearl
Yeah,
Matter.
because Zaslav is DC Discovery. He was
Yeah.
Discovery, yeah.
So I think he'd already left by Thor: The Dark World, I think, if I remember correctly. Do you remember? But I think at this point this was pure Kevin Feige. I think.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Yeah, I think this was pure Kevin Feige, and I felt like I almost felt like the director overdid Kevin Feige's ideas, and I think that's what really made this good. Anyway, solid 7.5 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you guys have mentioned this before. For me, Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite movies in the entire MCU, especially this one. I feel like this is the movie that really turned some of the actors into superstars. Chris Pratt, remember before this, he was a big bone dude. He was in movies like Wanted already. He was in Parks and Rec. He was also in this movie, man. What's this? Is it Double Wedding or something with Anne Hathaway and Goldie Hawn's daughter? What's her name again? But anyway, so now he's in shape. Everybody's surprised to see this from being a big guy to looking really good. You know, also Batista, I think he finally got his chance to become like a to be in a project that really kicked off, because he was already acting, but he was like having non-speaking roles. He was in a James Bond movie. He was in a film directed by the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. What? The Man with the Iron Fists or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in some movies, but he was just not really blowing up. So Drax for me turned him into a mega star, a mega star. Bradley Cooper also was in his element here because already he was doing movies like Silver Linings Playbook. He was doing like serious movies, Limitless, and all of that stuff. Having him play Rocket Raccoon, a very funny, like this is like if Timon was in the MCU and knew how to fight.
Yeah.
So for me, he stood out the most because he genuinely, for me personally, he felt like he was actually supposed to be the leader. If he really was the first one. Groot was great. You really felt sorry for him, especially when you think he was
Sorry,
dead.
just to derail you for a second. It's really interesting that they took the prettiest boy and they put him in the voice acting role. Because
Yeah, that's true.
Bradley Cooper could have easily crushed it as Star Lord if you think about it. But anyway.
100%, 100%, 100%, and a few other characters, to be honest, in Marvel.
Can Bradley pull off Goofy? That's the question. Because
Yeah.
Bradley pull off
Yeah,
Did you ever watch the A Team?
Watched him in the 18,
I
bro.
watched it.
And 80.
as Face.
It's
Yeah,
the Spider-Man problem with Garfield. Garfield is a terrible Peter Parker. Where like, you know what I mean? Because he's just too good looking. He's just too suave, and like it's like this is a terrible nerd right now. And I don't know. For me, Bradley Cooper kind of gives me that vibe where like, what nerd is this?
no, I think you would have killed it.
Why
but
must
not-
we be ugly
but
just
not-
because we nerds? Hey, Batum.
You
Easy.
would have killed it, but not to Chris Pratt's level.
No, I think he would have because like the thing is, like remember, with Star Lord, he still is supposed to be suave anyway because he's supposed to be a fusion of Captain Kirk and Han Solo.
Yes.
So Bradley Cooper could still capture the essence of that guy who's stumbling. Because I mean, that's what he practically did in Limitless. Because he's like fumbling for a lot of that movie until he gets his act together. If he did some
Yes.
Limitless stuff in this Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he would have killed it. But it's just interesting that they took the pretty boy and they said you're just going to be a voice for this raccoon. And I think
But
that's why
I
performance
don't
was so
think it would have been the same movie if Bradley Cooper was Star Lord. Personally, even if he had those comedic beats, I think Chris Pratt really brought something to the role that I don't think anybody could have done the same thing. I mean, he lost the audition for playing because he wanted to be Captain America. He lost that. Lee Pace also wanted to be Captain America. He lost that. Lee Pace then became Ronan the Accuser.
Waste.
So you got two Captain America rejects, one playing the hero, one playing the villain. It worked. So thank God. Also, Karen Gillian,
Chris Pratt.
amazing.
Oof.
Karen Gillian was amazing in this one. That was the first time we see. I didn't even know that Nebula existed. It was the first time seeing her in this movie, and also seeing the dynamic between her and her dad and her sister. How she's bitter, how she really wants to kill her sister just out of pure jealousy. Zoe Saldana always kills it for me. She has initially she tried to do a superhero movie before with the Losers. DC's The Losers, if you guys remember.
I
But
enjoyed
that
that
movie.
terrible movie.
Yeah, that movie really did not land, unfortunately. I liked it, but it did not land.
She starred in stuff before where she's carried the weight. Because Catalina
Yes.
was already out at that point, right?
What?
Catalina, am I saying it right?
Colombiana? No,
Colombiana.
no, I don't think it was out yet. I don't
But
think
it's
so.
it's Catalina.
But Avatar was out.
Mm. Yes, Avatar was out, right? Yes.
Yeah. But already, before this, she was doing like rom-coms. She was in
Catalina.
Guess Who. She was in Drumline and all of that. But seeing her in action as a person, not as a CGI character, or just with her holding a bazooka, no, this was really great. I really enjoyed this. So the casting was amazing. Vin Diesel for me, whether it was him or anybody else, for me personally, doesn't matter. I think it was a great movie. Thanos, I knew who he was and I knew how menacing he was, but I feel like he didn't really do anything for me here. It's just for us to understand how much Drax hated him and how much Ronan the Accuser really wanted to kill him. That's all that I got from it. Nova Corps also felt a bit useless to a certain degree, and I also didn't like their suits. I didn't get why they didn't have the helmets on. But apart from that, For me, this is one of my favorite movies in this entire MCU. So I'll give it a 9.5. No, 9.2. Sorry. Can't reach Avengers levels yet.
9.2. Cool. I mean, yeah, Mr. X, you say his name, buddy.
Okay, Duchesne.
Yep. Yeah, no, Guardians was a great move all around. Compared to the previous film that we spoke about, it did bring like the cosmic view, obviously, so it was different from the whole mercenary thing that we did with Winter Soldier, so that was nice. Rocket Raccoon and Groot were great, and the dynamic was fantastic. Although I think, on a side note, they leaned too much into it in the third movie. It's like too many cute animals running around. It's like, okay, cool. Now they start being special. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't necessarily affect the first movie, I'd say. Power scaling, I haven't necessarily read the comics as such. I played the game though, and from what I understand, Drax is supposed to be near Thanos level, even if it's not as strong as him, right? But all I've seen so far from him has been, I have two knives and I can stand. Ooh, but
Yeah.
I don't see how you're gonna defeat Thanos with that. So I wanted to see more of his like power scale, if I can say that. Same goes for
In the comic books, he rips out Thanos' heart, Mortal Kombat style. That's how he gets it.
He's actually, he was made to be a Thanos killer, so he is Thanos level. He was literally created to be a Thanos killer.
Absolutely, right? So from the game that I played the Guardians of the Galaxy game, right? Yeah, so there's a part in the game where you actually get to like the Nova Corps, and then you get to like read through their profiles and stuff. And I saw that this guy's supposed to be like planetary level, but
The
I'm just
Green
saying
Lanterns of the Marvel universe.
yeah, absolutely, space cups. You know what I mean? So it has nothing to do with the casting. Though. The casting I think was perfect. It was absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't necessarily change anyone, although the bad guy was uncompelling. But yeah, apart from that, I don't necessarily have any complaints. Do I? No. I think they did the mishmash of like the cosmic thing very, very well. Different colors of beings, and it didn't look too bad compared to like different, things that we had in the past. So overall, I'd give it an 8. It was especially for me because, like I'm saying, it was the actual introductions to Guardians of the Galaxy for me. So it had to land for me, or it's not, because I didn't have a prior reference. You know what I mean? So if this one didn't land, then I probably wouldn't like the films like that came afterwards. But yeah, it was really, really cool, man. I like this one. This one is it's a very nice dynamic.
Sweet.
So 9, yeah, it's definitely a 9 for me.
Cool.
It's you, Remy.
Oh yeah. Right. Guardians of the Galaxy. I did not know them until this movie. And when I first watched this movie, it actually got me into the comic books. So usually I did hear about them, but I kind of just viewed them as like C-list heroes, that kind of work. And I wish James Gunn could make Fantastic Four work, but that's another story for another time. So when I watched the movie, I kind of like the casting. I don't really have an issue with it. Like, it feels like everybody fits in like a puzzle piece. Um, I will say this about the pacing though, especially the prison scene. That took a bit too long. Like I was like, yeah, that was going to drag out. But overall, as a film, I just love the character dynamics, especially between Rocket and Groot, Rocket and Peter. How they interact, always fighting for who has to have the dominant personality in the team. It's very nice to see something very realistic. Unlike with the Avengers, you get that tension at first, then eventually they just all gel together like a whole big family. Guardians is more realistic in the sense that this character dynamic gradually takes time to get there, and there'll always be clashing personalities. Even the jokes as well, they were still good. It's just that, especially with Drax, like in the comics, he's supposed to come off as a tragic figure. I mean, I find it hard being sympathetic to someone who's lost his family, but still can crack jokes and act so silly. Sometimes you kind of lose it. Am I supposed to laugh at this guy, or am I supposed to feel sorry for it? So sometimes the comedy can be overdone, and I guess that's just James Gunn style. At least he knows how to balance it. At least he did. Um, we won't talk about Phase Four, but yeah, it was quite okay. I would say that even the pause scaling is a bit of an issue because like everybody pointed out, Drax is supposed to be near Thanos level, but for some reason he's just a yelly stabby guy, and so that just gets me like, okay, so like, what's the sense in calling him the destroyer type thing? And which I had a lot of people have issues with it, where they're like, how can we take the Guardians of the Galaxy seriously if they don't take themselves seriously? And I kind of like that callback even in the actual movie where there's always the dream team is like the Avengers, and then the Galaxy of the Guardians is like the bench team. Where they're like, why can't it be like them? That kind of gets me cracking. There's like, yeah, y'all just need to try to be like the Avengers. They're always serious all the time. So yeah, even the Nova Corps.
But anyway,
Yeah. So even the Nova Corps as well, their suits, like everybody really pointed out, they should have been far better and more comic accurate. So I don't want to go too long down the rabbit hole. So my rating for this one is 8.5.
Cool.
Okay. Wait, Remy. Before we shut this down, do you want to do quick reviews of Thor and what's the other one?
Avengers.
Avengers, Thor,
Avengers.
Iron Man, Thor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Iron Man 3, Thor.
Iron Man 3, Thor the first one.
No, the first one is Avengers.
Okay, so which one am I doing? Iron Man 3, right?
No,
Okay, we
Avengers.
start with Avengers.
Avengers, the first one.
The first one. Yeah.
The first one, for an introductory film, it was actually quite okay. I remember watching it as a kid, so how I watched it then and how I watched it again were quite different. So I would say that it really did a good job of putting all of these guys in this film and making sure that the screen time is well portioned together. Because up to that point, a lot of movies prior to this had been struggling with this. How do you share enough screen time? Because this also plagued the earlier X-Men films and a lot of the pre-MCU films where, you know, it has often been very difficult to put multiple heroes onto the same screen. And that, this one kind of brought a bit of edginess that allowed people to, for the first time, take superhero films seriously. Because back in the day, it was mostly seen as a bit of what can I say, a bit of a niche where you'd get like that Hulk from the 80s with that wrestler and it kind of gets you like, oh my God, no. So, as this first film, I will say the CGI was quite ahead of its time. It was really awesome. Every actor brought their A game. Chris Evans, Robert Downey. What kind of hurt me was changing Edward Norton's Hulk. I never liked Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I mean, he is ugly enough for it. I'll give him that.
Jeez.
I'm with you,
No
Dark.
one have smoke for me and Vin Diesel ever again. I'm the worst thing here.
Ninjani kanti nina chance. How?
What's your rating on Avengers?
On Avengers, I would say 8.
Okay, cool.
Right, cool. And then Iron Man?
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, oh my God. No. Iron Man 3 for me was really disappointing. It was a step down below from the other two films in the sense that essentially they removed Tony from being Iron Man up until the last part, and of which the villain I was kind of disappointed. I would have wanted to see Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, but the whole spin, it turns out it's not him, it's that other guy, the Guy Pearce guy. And even he didn't come off as a menacing villain because he just came off as very cookie cutter type villain. where it's like he's there as cardboard. Oh, you build up all of this anticipation only for it to be anticlimactic. So the fact that he didn't get to, and even that Mark, what was it called, the Mark 40, the suit with the yellow and then inverted. I would have loved to see more of that suit, but I guess they cut it out, so it kind of hurt a little bit. I really wish we could see more of Tony being Iron Man in that film. But in terms of emotional beats, yeah, it hits the right places, accepting that he's more than the suit of armor. He's still the man underneath the armor. So for me, Iron Man 3 is like a 6.
All right. Cool. And then the last one.
For the Dark World.
For the Dark World. As a favorite fan of Thor, is my favorite all-time Marvel hero. Thor: Dark World was very, very disappointing. Partly, I'll start with the villain Malekith. Malekith in the comics is very, very menacing. Here, I don't know why he decided to, kind of nerf him a little, which really made it very concerning. The dialogue was also very clunky. Sometimes it would feel like it had its comedic moments where, I feel like the chemistry between Thor and Jane's friend was actually way, 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 way higher than him and Jane. Almost every scene with him and Jane, to me, was very, very annoying because it would kind of sidetrack. It's like, okay, so what's going on here? Are we still worried about the Dark Elves? Or are we now worried whether this man then can save his relationship? So I didn't really like the whole romance aspect of it because it would take away the focus of the film.
I wonder if Natalie Portman was pissed, because remember at this time she was pissed off that Patty Jenkins is not directing this movie. You remember? Because she was initially attached to direct the movie, then she dropped out, then she did Wonder Woman, and then Natalie Portman was disappointed by that and basically left the MCU completely. Which is why in Endgame they had to use previous deleted footage for that specific scene where Rocket goes back to Asgard. And Taika Waititi had to beg her to come back for Love and Thunder. So that could have played a role. I don't know.
Yeah, it did significantly play a role. But I don't know. Personally, for me, it feels like every scene between Thor and Jane is often like it hasn't been good since the first film. The second, all the way down to the future one, it's just been messy. I don't know how they've handled that one. The action is okay. Especially Loki. I feel like Loki was the heart of the whole film. Like Tom Hiddleston and total back to the whole film because he was more, the tragic, jealous brother, just lost. And it felt like Shakespearean drama between him and Odin. So that for me was like the peak of the film. Thor himself, yeah, okay, you get that whole conflict between himself and his loyalty to Asgard, but as a character, he's just floating there as your leading person. But I felt like Loki was on to carry that film. And then, as well as the meandering, a lot of things happen for the convenience of the plot to go on, so that Thor beats Alex and that's it. I mean, it could have been more interesting to see the 9 realms because they only focused on a few realms, and they're like, oh no, the convergence is happening, and then you just see like 3 huge circles in the sky, and what's that supposed to be? So it would have been nice to have seen a few more glimpses of the other realms, rather than just hint at them, because at the end of the day, the whole Yggdrasil universe is quite big, so they could have scaled it up a little so it doesn't feel very confined. So my rating for Thor: Dark World would be a 6.
Righty, another 6. Cool.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks,
Hey,
man.
well,
Kuto, do you want to do like a speed round of the next part that we plan on doing, or?
No, I think please you do the honors.
All right, cool. So we'll do it speed round. So basically, we came up with an idea of like a ranking system, like a little local thing that we kind of did. Like, I don't know if you guys, well, we were all kids of the 90s and the 2000s, right?
Yeah, I'm just not sure if Remy will relate.
Yeah, you might. We'll see.
Hey
Okay,
man, don't let the face fool you, dude. I am.
All right. Well, the idea is for those who remember, basically the idea is the ranking is gonna be like the top films. But basically, in the olden days, you had Mnet at 8 o'clock was peak filmmaking. I don't know if you guys remember the best films would come out like 8 o'clock on a Sunday on Mnet, and then there was Friday Action Night, of course, which was like the best action films like that, like Chuck Norris kind of stuff, but still good stuff. And then you had SABC One also had their own 8 o'clock movie on a Sunday, which was always like an old a lower quality film. You know what I mean? And then of course you had the lowest quality, which was Saturday night after 12 o'clock on ETV.
What do you mean lowest quality?
Emmanuel 2000.
Emmanuel in space.
Well, we all know what we're talking about.
Emmanuel in paradise.
All right, cool. So actually, I think we should leave this.
We were watching for the plot. Don't do that.
Definitely for the plot.
What we'll do is we'll just for this show we'll just do phase one only. So I mean, it's 4 slots. If it's not in the slot, it's not in the slot. So just pick which movie you think would go of all the phase one movies. Can you guys see the shared screen?
Yeah.
Cool. So whichever one you think is the best, whichever one you think would fit in of the movies in the top one, put it in. And then whichever one would go on the Friday Action Night, put it in. And whichever one would go on SABC One, put it in. And then whichever one would go on Thingamajiggy. Just pick 4 movies. Obviously, you can't put the same movie twice. Cool. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, sharp. I'll go first then. Iron Man 1 is got to go on which one was the highest again? It was the Mnet one, right?
Mnet, yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's going Mnet.
All right, cool.
By the way, you can't have the higher. You can't have the same level on another movie, right? Like one movie, one level.
Twice, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Cool.
You can't mention the same movie twice.
And you can't have another movie on the same
Can I
level.
put multiple movies on the same thing or not?
You can't. In other words, think of it as like kiss, marry, kill kind of thing.
Sharp. Okay. Friday Action Night has got to go to Thor.
All right.
What are the other movies in phase one again?
Okay. Scroll up.
Captain America,
Incredible Hulk,
Avengers.
and 2, and Avengers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Iron Man 2 is going to Saturday ETV.
Figured as much. Okay. And then the middle slot.
All right. Then Friday Action Night, Incredible Hulk.
All right. I like that. Okay, cool. And then Zuko.
Okay. Mnet. I'll give it the Avengers, the first one.
Okay.
Oh, Kanene, I forgot Avengers was part of phase one. Can I change my Iron Man to
I figured you're gonna say that. Okay, fine. Okay, so Avengers. All right.
Okay, and then for
Sorry.
Friday Action Night, let's go for Incredible Hulk.
All righty.
I could actually see that.
Right? Yeah.
Tonight, Friday Action Night, The Incredible Hulk, starring Edward Norton.
He was poisoned.
Wow.
With the camera raised.
And then SABC One. SABC was so. SABC was very pop. I'll give it Ant-Man.
All right.
No. That's not phase one though.
Oh yeah, you gotta look up here. The green.
Oh, only phase one.
Yeah, only phase one.
Okay, only phase one. Then I will give it Iron Man 2.
All right, Iron Man 2.
What is gonna make ETV after 12, dog?
Yeah, what's gonna make ETV after 12?
No, the problem is I didn't hear the phase 2 part because I was gonna make Thor Dark World, pun intended, for ETV. So now I have to rethink it.
Oh no, this is just phase one.
Yeah, it's just for phase one.
I think Rob, you need to add a column there to specify that this is phase one.
Yeah.
Probably just at the top there.
Zuko, you have to put Iron Man 2
No,
on
yeah,
each.
no. I have to put Iron Man, pun intended, goes there. Ke monna wa
Iron
tshipi.
Man 1.
O tlo tlhaba. Iron Man 1, yeah.
Wait, how? Sway?
What? Damn. Okay.
No, guys, look. There is no rhyme or reason here. We just picking. Let's not act like
Fair enough,
the-
man. Fair enough.
No,
none
I
of these
get you.
none of these movies. The only TV station that would play these movies is Mnet. None of these TV stations would play these movies.
That's true.
We'll redo it for Fast and the Furious.
Well, maybe ETV, I think. But like after 5 years.
Yeah.
Rob, it's you.
All right, cool. So, you guys have ruined it now. That's a tough one. Okay, I think top one would definitely be Avengers as well. I think that would definitely. I can see that playing off the carte blanche. I can see that.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I do think that Iron Man would it would be like 5 years too late. So it would definitely play on SABC One on a Sunday, definitely. And then crap, I don't want to be I'm gonna say Hulk. I feel like the Hulk would play there.
Excitement here, but okay.
And then pure action, Friday action night. It wouldn't be Captain America. In fact, no, I'm changing it. Actually, no. Captain America would be at the bottom. It would definitely be at the bottom. If you consider the yeah, definitely.
Well, Tebelo definitely wants to make him a bottom.
No!
Damn.
And then Hulk could be Friday action night. I think that's how it would go. Cool, Mr. X.
I think you guys know Avengers would definitely be Mnet, where magic lives. And then Friday action night for me, Iron Man.
Alrighty.
SABC One, it's Captain America.
Alrighty.
And then after 12 it would be Iron Man 2.
Alrighty. Iron Man 2 seems to be winning the bottom. Okay, and
Duchesne.
Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're
on the phone, so you can't see, no? Or can you?
No, I can see.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I just minimized. So, for Mnet, I'm going with Avengers.
Okay.
Friday Action Night, Iron Man 1.
Alright.
SABC 1.
Zanzi for sure. Yeah.
See Moon, yeah, we are one.
I'll give them Thor.
All right.
You guys can't be roasting the house of Panscom to Zwelanga. Come on.
No, my people need to see this one. They need to be as guardian for one day. And then Saturday, ETV, Incredible Hulk.
All right. Brutal. All right. Sweet. Nice. And then Remy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you'll relate, bro.
Yeah, would you relate? Yeah.
I do relate. We got like TV across the Limpopo, guys. We're not that far.
Oh yeah, I remember you and I spoke about some of the shows that are on ETV.
Yeah. Although I haven't watched this TV in a very long time, though. But yeah, I know about Mnet and was the show. Well, don't worry. Okay, for Mnet Sunday 8 a.m., I would say The Avengers, because that's like a really big film and like everybody decided to love Mnet. So yeah. And then Friday night action for ETV, I would say the first Iron Man because they used to play that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Iron Man, yeah.
Iron Man. Oh, okay.
that's where I first watched it. So
Okay.
yeah, then SABC one. It's actually lame this side. Most people love it. Most people love ETV this side. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, really, like SABC this side, you could like everybody's like, oh, what? So everybody ETV this side. I would say Captain America, the first Avenger for SABC one. Yeah,
And then last but not least.
after 12, this is hard.
Bow, chicka, bow. Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Did you put in because he loves to smash?
This is like the kind of adverts that you would get, nah? Because they play ads during these movies. Would
They
be WWE, and then it would be live lotto ball results. Then it would be 350-50. You know what I mean?
I remember it was SMS 6.
SMS love.
Yeah. And then there will be a random glow cell. The mobile generation. Glow
Y'all
cell.
don't even know how badly we admire the chicken licking adverts, man. Those look like trailers for movies. And like South Africans are cooking. They're like, oh, that, okay. I remember they had that one with the whole Black Panther thing, and everyone was like, "That was
Big
actually
John.
okay." Movie. That was wild. So I would say probably the first Thor.
Ah, nice. All right, cool, guys. That was fun, actually. I think we'll save the next one for the next 7 Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had fun with that. How about you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
that was pretty
Even
cool.
though I came in and Lord
I don't
said
think
it's
I
just
understood the assignment. I think I was ranking by quality, but it's fine.
Well, I mean,
I,
yeah, it's more.
I
It's a
tried to rank by which one would most fit the channel.
Yes, so it's a combination of quality versus atmosphere. You could say it like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, what would most likely go there with that level of quality?
Oh,
I don't
is
see
that
any
what we're
other.
going for?
I don't see any other movie but like than Captain America: The First Avengers on SABC One, dog. Like I don't see any other movie there.
They played Lord of the Rings once. You know that they played all 3 Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
It
but
was
then I'm
20
sure
years later.
mid the movie they'll play Takalani Sesame audio by mistake. Then they'll take it out. You're like, wait, what's going on? You know they used to do stuff like
You
that,
have
right?
entered the gates of Mordor. You cannot takalani, says Evan.
Your birthright was to die. What the hell? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. I hope you guys enjoy 7 Up. Thank you so much to our special guests, Remy and Duchesne, for joining us. You guys can tell that they have really some great insights about the MCU. We hope they'll also have great insights about other stuff that we're going to be doing in the future. Guys, we truly appreciate your presence. And then we have Buckmeister Cool. He was able to join us, even though he was doing it in a different way. So we thank you, Buck. We couldn't see your handsome face today. I don't know if we'll get as many views. Yeah.
Vengeance mode right now.
Exactly. And the Fire Lord himself is he's we couldn't see his good looks as well because a lot of people want to see his face for some reason. And then it's me and Rob. Guys, we thank you so much. We thank you so much. We appreciate it. This is African Frame. This is 7 Up. We shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Peace out.
Peace.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Good show, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Mama.